What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Tears for Fears. And I wanted to start by giving a major shout out to great friend of the channel, Kim, who has shared a welter of music. Tears for Fears, Soft Cell, The Grid, Olita Adams, who I'm still meaning to get back to, a great amount of holiday music, and much, much else. But she's also made a number of donations, including one that allowed me to get a copy of Songs for a Nervous Planet 2024. So big thank you to Kim, and also thank you to all the folks who've been following this now multi-year journey through the Tears for Fears catalog. And we're going to listen to one of the original tunes on Songs for a Nervous Planet, and specifically one that I believe was only included on the Target promoted version of the album, meaning I think they had a cross-promotional deal with Target, and on their version of the album, or that edition of the album, there's an extra track. I think this is it, and this is Landlocked. So it's a term that typically refers to nation-states that are bounded on all sides by other landed territories, other landed countries, meaning it doesn't have one side that is coastal. I don't think any landlocked country can have a border or a part of its territory that has a large lake. So I would expect this term to be metaphorical or figurative, maybe relating to someone who feels trapped or bounded by more of the same. They're not able to escape or to go through a different type of medium to draw upon the resources or navigation abilities that a body of water might entail. So again, thinking that this will probably be metaphorical, I feel like there's a lot of different ways you could go with it, but the term itself makes it sound like you are trapped, like you're bounded in by territories that are between you and some ocean, some body of water, however metaphorical that may be. So I'll see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Tears for Fears. The track is Landlocked, and it's a track from at least one version of their 2024 album, Songs for a Nervous Planet. Wow, so I love the tune. First of all, the Sonics. So I especially enjoy those, I don't know, music box meets almost like video game music type sections. And then each of them end, well, I guess in the last case, ending with a little crunch. But the previous iterations of that ended with an explosion into a more typical, not typical, but energetic, like synth rock type of mode. The the elements in the background, these little like trilling piano bits or keyboard, I suppose it could be a true piano, but yeah, I love those little keyboard bits. I enjoy that guitar section, which gave it a bit more of an edge and served as a nice interlude leading into the final part of the track. All the musical elements are great, but especially those transitions into the more full synth rock parts after those music box slash video game music type more electronic sections were fantastic. I just love the way that energy picked up immediately and sort of punched in those moments. Couple also like electronic sounding flourishes, like little crescendos going up. Those were like a more minor detail, but they did catch my ear, especially near the end of the track. The vocals sounding good. I'm not sure in the moment if I heard both of them or whether I was mainly hearing Roland. I'm not sure. Maybe that was Kurt actually. Again, this will forever be an issue with me because like at a certain part of their range, they sound very similar to my ears. When Roland goes bigger, I can usually call him out, but either way, I enjoy the vocal work. Lyrically, it's interesting. There's some lines about like, flying like with the wings or on the wings of a bird, which again, flying over a landlocked territory, maybe toward the sea where, your destination is something different from where you are. But other lines were more like about perspective and the idea of like, well, that's the way that things never were, like that it never was like that, but that's how things look when you're landlocked. So maybe the idea that once you get into this certain mode or part of your personal journey, you're beginning to tell yourself stories about where you've been or what's happened because that's how things begin to look when you're sort of bounded in by your current situation. So, yeah, I don't really know what's at hand. It does feel like it's metaphorical, but there were a couple lines where it felt like maybe the passage of time and perspective or perception are key in that one is perhaps not referring to things that have come before as they actually were, but it's a product of the way things are now and how they contrast with the past. So, either way, I enjoy the Sonics, I enjoy the vocals, and the lyrics. Again, they seem like there's some talk of time and perspective going on. So, ultimately, as a historian, that will always interest me because, indeed, whether you're talking about professional history and certainly when you're talking about cultural memory, we have didactic tools where we talk about the 70s or the 80s and we sort of imbue those years and people and places that characterize them with certain characteristics that at best did not apply in all circumstances or cases and in some regards are mostly fiction or are at the very least vast oversimplifications, but we do that not only as societies as a whole, but as individual humans who maybe you get to a point in your life where you talk about an earlier time where you maybe made mistakes or didn't live up to the kind of person you wanted to be by giving yourself extenuating circumstances like, well, that happened because this or because this other person never gave me a chance or whatever. And you begin to talk in a certain way because now you're landlocked in a, let's say, subpar framework of life, and it's easier to tell yourself a story than to accept that there were other factors at work, including maybe some bad choices on your own part. So I don't know if that's actually what's happening here, but again, as a historian who is very interested in historical theory and the way that we talk about the past relative to what actually may have happened, which, again, the historical record is necessarily and always incomplete, I find that very interesting. So, in any case, shout out to those, again, who've been following the Tears for Fears journey. I think there's one more. Is that right? I think there's maybe one more original track on this that I haven't heard before. Is it Say Goodbye to Mom and Dad? That might be it. I don't remember reacting to that. I do... Oh, and I know I reacted to the girl that I call Home and Astronaut. Did I react to Emily Said? I'm not sure if I reacted to that one either. Maybe there's two left. I'm sure Kim and others will comment in that regard, and of course there are, I think, live performances on here as well. As I said, there's 2 discs, so there's a lot of tracks on here, so we'll go through more of it. Once again, shout out to Kim for all great things that she brings to my channel, comments, music, sharing with everybody, and also, as I said, a donation that allowed me to get that physical copy. And everyone, let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Peace.